up, Youngry audience? We have over here Robb McDaniels from Faction Management. Super awesome guy. Just came out talking from Techweek LA. And we're going to go a little bit over what he does, and if you don't mind talking a little bit about Faction.
Sure. So Faction is a technology-enabled management company. We provide a suite of services to our talent management clients. We're focused initially on the music vertical, but we have plans to expand into other talent verticals. YouTube, people who manage YouTube influencers, chefs, actors and actresses, and so that'll happen at some point next year. But think of us like we work for managers plus some Slack and some Slack-esque technology.
So would you say it's kind of like, so in terms of management, they would become their own CEOs for the different artists?
Well, yeah, typically right now, somebody who manages a stable of artists, usually 4 or 5, each manager can handle 4 or 5 different acts. They're typically either on their own and they have to have their own assistant, their own little tiny office, and they carry this fixed cost against what is a variable income stream because they're taking a percentage of the artist's overall income as their commission. Or they join one of the bigger roll-ups and give up half of their commissions, which is a big chunk of change for services, centralized services that don't necessarily help them specifically, and there are a number of issues with that model, not just the cost. But when I was looking at the talent space and focusing on the music industry, when you see that they have 2 current options to sort of run their business, it's either go it alone or give up 50%. There's obviously a lot of room in the middle there, and so that's where Faction fits in, and we provide a third option for these managers so that they can have access to infrastructure and shared services, innovative technology that we've developed to help them make them more efficient, and a collaborative culture where they can share ideas with other managers, but they don't have to pay 50%, right? So it's something that nobody pays attention necessarily to the world of talent management, but it's a little bit of inside baseball. But when you realize that these guys and girls are the CEOs of their talent, right? They're responsible for all the revenue streams, all of the different partners providing services. And so we saw a huge opportunity to provide them, most sort of like cloud-like services on demand.
Yeah, I think that's really cool how you mentioned it's either black or white. It's either they go at it by themselves or they go 50% of their own. What other, can I say, like a niche, like what other opportunities are there that are available for disruption within that little gray area that you've seen so far, or that other companies have been going through?
Sure. Well, look, as I mentioned just now on the panel, the costs to produce content have gone down dramatically in any entertainment vertical. And if you have a talent, and the talent could be musically, artistically, just your talent to engage with people and provide advice, as YouTube influencers and things like that. There's a ton of resources and services and tools for you to connect directly with the consumer.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of money that consumers are willing to pay to people that are providing them entertainment. But traditionally, and still, you have a lot of friction in between that relationship. So just in the music industry, which people may assume is a highly evolved industry, 75 cents of every dollar goes to somebody that's not the artist across all of their revenue streams. So that just seems like that needs to be turned on its head, right? Because if you think about the amount of effort and time as a creator of entertainment or art that you put into that, you should probably be taking home more than 25%.
Yeah, more than 25%.
Right? So my last company called Ingrooves, which sort of was one of the pioneers in the digital distribution music side of things, we helped to democratize the distribution of music, to break down those barriers. and do it so that artists could keep more of the money. But then with Faction, I saw an opportunity to help do this in all the other revenue streams. And the best way to do that is to go straight through the manager, because the manager is the one that's involved in all of it. So that's sort of the premise. So I think there's still a ton of opportunity in any entertainment vertical to facilitate that connection and monetization, direct monetization for the content creators.
So going along with that, what would be, let's say, so our audience is young and hungry entrepreneurs, people who are hustlers, getting out of college or starting college, anywhere in that kind of area, right? So they want to get into music. I prefer, like, you wouldn't recommend like a specific business, but what type of questions, while they're on their path, would you want them to ask themselves?
If they want to get involved in the music business?
Yeah, so like they're trying to find opportunities, they're finding like niches, but what questions would you have them ponder?
Well, I think that, look, there's the music business is a screwed up industry, right? I mean, it's part of the issue is that there's this legal infrastructure that's been in place for decades or generations, and there's been massive companies, and there's legislation, and it's just very complex for the size of the industry. Which the big joke in the music industry that it's smaller than the toilet paper industry around the world. So, but for the size of the industry, it's incredibly complex. So that's why my recommendation to most entrepreneurs that are looking to get involved in music is focus on the next decade, right? And by the way, this isn't typically something you come in and you have a quick flip in a couple of years, because it's investing for the next generation, and so if you think about the way that consumers want to engage, and I would always approach it from the consumer angle, right? How do consumers want to engage with art and content? And then build your product around that, and you've got to have a passion for it, because there's almost everybody I think that's involved in the music industry on the business side could probably be making more money doing something else. But except for those precious few that are still at the old establishment that are squeezing that 75% in spots where they shouldn't. But you've got to be in this for the long haul. And my last company, I was founded in my bedroom, and I was the CEO for 14 years. So it's more a passion than anything else.
Do you have any like routines? Do you have any like morning habits or anything that you do that would help you get jazzed up in the morning or ready for work? Or
well, I don't. I mean, I don't have a problem getting up and out of bed in the morning. Again, I'm able to do something that I love, and I've been in finance for 6 years before getting involved in the music industry, and that was a struggle to get out of bed. But the opportunity to help and serve folks that are creative, and these are people that many artists, many folks in the creative community on that side, they're like entrepreneurs, right? I mean, they put their heart and soul into what they create, and they get up on stage every night and bare their soul to the world, and so there's a lot of inspiration that comes from just being able to be around those kinds of people.
Definitely. I know that was a really good point, that the inspiration really comes from within, and that's pretty much gets you up in the morning.
Yeah.
I know a lot of our young entrepreneurs, young hustlers, our younger members, like a lot of them are really struggling because they're wondering, hey, if I want to get into the music industry, should I even go to college? Or is this really going to help me out? I know you were in finance. I know you were talking about how you were in finance for 6 years and you were doing that. Would you recommend, like, what would be your take on it, pretty much?
Oh, gosh. In terms of recommending whether or not people go to college?
Yeah.
Well, look, I don't know. I mean, the only course I remember taking in college was one called Sex, Drugs, and Religion. But college is the right place for a lot of people because it teaches you how to learn, and you engage with people and so forth. But I certainly understand that, especially this day and age, if you're motivated and a self-learner and disciplined already, then college, whether it's just a year or two or not at all, the real opportunity and the real experiences happen when you're out there, out in the real world, learning the lessons of life. So I understand with the cost and the amount of time that you spend in college, but I also think that college is a great laboratory for entrepreneurs, right? Where you meet other like-minded people, and it creates an environment, sort of a sheltered environment for you to be able to do that. And if you're going to plan on leaving college anyway, then if you only get C's because you're spending your time building the next Facebook, then God bless, who cares?
Alrighty, favorite book or book that you would recommend for someone that wanting to get into this industry?
Into the music industry?
Yeah, either the music industry
or
or
Hitman is one of the
Hitman.
Sure, it'll give you some insights into
Hitman by who?
Hitman. Oh gosh, I forget the author's name, but it's a very famous book in the music industry because it's all about the corruption that it is, and so I think that like many industries, we have our fair share of ethically challenged people.
Sweet. And okay, so last question. So, Youngry, what does that mean to you?
Young and hungry?
Yeah, young and
Did I pass the test? I got it right?
Yeah, pretty much. But, what would that mean to you, first time you hear the word Youngry? Like, how does it resonate?
Well, we're obviously in a youth-based business, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what I know more than anything when I come into the office every day is that the young professionals that I've hired out of college know more than I do, right? So my job is just to provide them with an environment and a platform to make as few mistakes as possible. But it's look, when you get older and you've got responsibilities and other things pulling at you, fear enters into the equation in terms of your decision making, and you start doing things for the wrong reason. But when you're young and hungry, that you're it's much more authentic, right? Because you're just doing things based on your gut and pure passion and what's practical, and not necessarily having these other factors influencing your decisions.
Thank you so much.
Cool.
If there's any way, if anyone wants to follow you, see what's up, see your progress with Faction, how could they follow you, or where would they?
Well, I think Twitter, but I'm not on it that much. I'm actually fairly a private person. My father taught me when I was younger that being in the press only puts a bullseye on your chest. So certainly you can follow factionandtnt.com. Faction and on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and so forth.
Sweet. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
See you.